tell them. All right, so today we're going to just do the 5-5. I really do believe in my heart of hearts that you guys are going to see this is going to be a lot of review, especially because you've done really well in graphing lines already. Now we're just going to be working on inequalities. We're also going to be working on inequalities with circles and parabolas. And so really the only change is going to be an area where it's represented rather than just the line of the parabola. So I have a Desmos activity. I went ahead and put it on our lesson plans. And so if you want to grab that one and it'll just have all of the questions that we have that we're going to go over. So you're welcome to do that as we go through. So to get started, um, let's start here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. When you graph inequalities, really the main thing you need to remember is that you're going to treat it just like if it were a straight line. And so we're going to change that inequality just to an equal sign to graph it. You're going to graph that portion of it, and then you're going to look to see which part of the area is going to be shaded. And a lot of times you get better at it as you go along. But what they recommend for this lesson is to go ahead and pick a point or two in that section and then just check it to see if it's a true statement or not. I want to remember what happens if we have just a greater than or a less than, but not equal to. What do you do with the line? There you go. It is a dashed line, and we're going to talk about that one as well. So, without any further ado, if I'm going to graph this first one, which is going to be the 3 minus 6y is greater than 12. Remember, I'm going to start off with it, and I'm just going to ask that, oh, it's not allowing me to change it. There it goes, that I just want to graph the line first, okay? And if I had to graph the line, what I would do is, since I have 3x minus 6y is less than or equal to 12, I would go ahead and put in, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my visualizer back up here. I would go ahead and solve the equation for y. And what form am I putting that into? Slope intercept, right. So the y equals mx plus b allows me to graph it really easily. I mean, but I could go ahead. This one would be really easy to graph with my intercepts. I could let x equals 0 and then solve for y, and that's going to be then a -2. And then I could let y equals 0 and solve for x and get 4. Plot those points. And that's also going to give me those same points. So lots of things you can do to graph. You just have to remember what we've done before with graphing, and it works the same way. So when I do this, I'm going to go ahead. I just talked to you about the y-intercept. When x is equal to 0, y was -2. When x is equal, or when y is equal to 0, then x is going to be 4. So let me just plot that one rather than to go with y-intercept. But if you like the y-intercept, do the y-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to plot this line. I am going to look before I draw my line to see if it's greater than or equal to, and it's so many times I tend to draw the line and then look at it, and then I have to erase a little bit. So if you can get in the habit of before you draw the line, look to see if it's equal to, and then what we're going to do, remember, this is not an equal sign. It's going to be then this less than or equal to. So it's going to be a shaded area. And so what I can do is I can pick a point, and notice that 0, 0 is going to be a point that unless it's on the line, that's usually the one I go to. And I'm just going to put it back in. I'm going to go 0 minus 0 is less than or equal to 12, and that's a 0, not a 6. And so in this case, that's a true statement, right? So that means I'm going to shade the area right above. That makes sense? Okay. Oh, and before I click on the button on x squared plus y squared is less than or equal to 4, what does it graph as? Before I hit this, what's x squared plus y squared equals 4 graph as? Circle. You got it because you know that the x is squared, the y is squared, and the leading coefficients in front of them are the same and they're both positive. And so you're right. I'm going to have a circle and then the radius is going to be then the square root of 4, which is going to be then 2. And in this case, that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to go ahead, my center, I'm going to plot my center. My center is going to equal 0, comma 0, because remember, the formula for the circle was x minus h, expression squared, plus y plus minus k, as I write plus, um, expression squared is equal to r squared. And so my center is going to be, since there's nothing added and subtracted, it's going to be 0, 0. And then my radius is going to equal then the square root of 4, which is going to equal 2. And so then I'm just going to come out in on all sides and put the dots. And then I'm going to also go ahead and fill it in. Since it's equal to, it will be a solid line. So I'm going to do a solid line. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and substitute 0 into this equation. So 0, comma 0. So 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 4. Is that true or false? True. Therefore, it has to include that point. And so I'm going to go ahead and shade that area in. Okay, and then again, obviously you can jump into Desmos and graph. I will give you some easy ones that you should be able to graph on your own, but I do expect you guys to kind of be able to graph the circles and the parabolas and the lines. All right, the next one is going to be y equals x squared minus 9. Before I click on it, can you guess? It is a parabola, right? Because remember, y is to the first power, x is to the second power, though. And I know it's going to open up or down because of the fact that the squared part was x. If it was y squared and then a solid x, then it's not going to be a function, it's going to open left or right. But in this case, it means that I have a shift going down 9. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to plot my point. I'm going to go ahead and give you our formula for parabola. Just remember y equals, it's x minus h, expression squared, plus k. And then our vertex is going to be at h, comma k. I forgot the a. Let me squeeze that in. There really is an a. Oh, you can't. You sure can't. How about I go over here? X, I'm going to put an A in front because the A represents our stretch or our shrink. Okay, so in other words, how skinny it is or how wide it is. So again, my vertex is going to be H comma K because in this case, I'm not subtracting anything with my X, but I'm just going to go down 9. So my vertex is going to be at 0 comma negative 9. It does open up because the value in front of the X squared is positive, and it opens since there is the A is equal to 1, it's going to go over 1, up 1. Remember, if it was 2, it'd be over 1, up 2. If it was 3, it'd up over there. If it was a half, it would go over 1, up a half. All right, so then because it's going to be just, and it's not equal to, it is going to be just less than, I am going to put a dashed line. Now, another great point is going to be 0 because I can substitute that back in. So let's check to see if 0 is in the function. So 0 is less than or equal to 0 minus 9. Is 0 less than negative 9? True or false? False. Good job. That's a false. So therefore, 0 is not included, and therefore it's going to be all the shaded area on the outside. And that's how I'm getting that, as well as when I'm looking at it, when I'm looking at Desmos. Okay. So, questions so far? Now we can have a set of 2 equations. And so I know the first one's a line. Tell me why why I would know it as a line. Sure, that's it. And then again, to the first power, both of them are to the first power. I know it's going to be, those are 2 linear equations. And you're right. I'm going to take the first one, which is the 2x plus y is less than or equal to 4. I'm going to move my 2x to the other side, and I have it in the form of y equals mx plus b. So unlike the other one where I used the y-intercepts, this one I think the slope-intercept form makes a whole lot more sense. 2x plus 4. That means I'm going to start with the value of 4. I'm going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go, my slope of -2 means I'm going to go down 2 and over 1 and down 2 and over 1. Okay, I know that it's going to equal, oh, you do?
Our top one is x plus y equals less than or equal to 4, and then it's y is greater than 2x minus 4.
Okay. I'll see which one, tell me, oh, so I had x plus,
X plus y is less than or greater or equal to 4,
okay,
and then y is greater than 2x minus 4.
okay, sorry about that. I wonder why. Oh, that's the next one. Okay, so hold on to,
You just probably flipped.
it is. Sorry, guys, it's out of order. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to in order, number 3, which is what she just read. And it's still going to be 2 lines. We do know that. And then we're going to graph it. So let's go down -4. Let's do this one because it's already in slope intercept form. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this time I'm going to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. Well, the other one I'll have partially done. It's going to be just greater than, so therefore I know I'm going to do what line? Good. Dash line. I'm also going to check for this one. I'm going to check it for 0. 0 is going to be greater than 0 minus 4. Is that going to be true? Yes. I didn't. So 0. So I'm going to just kind of shade this one, and then I'm going to shade my other one in a different color. So then I'm going to also take this one, and I'm going to solve it for y. So y is going to be less than or equal to a negative x plus 4. So I'm going to start off with going up 4. But now I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Solid line or... Yep. I'm going to draw a solid line. Then I'm also going to check 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 0 plus 4. Is that true? Yes. So that means 0 is included in this one as well. So it means, and I'll put it in red, that this one goes this direction. So the area that will actually be true is the area where they are both shaded. And so they're both shaded right here. So I'm just going to make sure I make it a little lot harder. And I think on your homework, it's pretty easy. On a test, I'll provide you with pins if you want, but as long as you kind of have it pretty well defined, I'm going to be okay. Going to Desmos, what it looks like on Desmos, I'll see if I can go down to this one and the 2x minus 4 there. And you notice it's the same thing. It's just going to be a little darker right here on the shading area. Okay, so the next one is going to be graph the solution of systems of inequalities. And sometimes you do have a no solution, but look on this one. This one is going to be the top one. If I have x squared plus y squared is less than or equal to 4. We said earlier that was a circle, right? With radius of 2. So let me go ahead and draw that in, and it's going to be a solid. Okay. On the next one, if I take this one and I say x, I solve it for y, so y is going to be greater than a negative x plus 1. So I'm going to come up 1. Oh, you can't. How about that? On this one, you're going to go up 1 and plot point, and then you're going to go down 1 over 1 for your slope. And it will be dashed. So in this case, we're going to check to see what region. So starting with my circle, if I plot in 0, I'll have 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 4. And that would be a true statement. So that means I know that it's going to be inside my circle, but then I need to decide which side of my line. And so I'm going to go 0 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 1. So 0 is greater than 1, and that would be false. So therefore, I'm not going to include 0 within my circle, but it's just going to be this shaded area above. And again, if we go to our Desmos, you should be able to,
Didn't you just solve? No, I see it.
okay.
No,
If I have my circle and then I have my line, and notice it's just going to be that part above it. Okay. Let's go back to the problem we were starting, that I was starting, but was the wrong one. Okay, so the reason they talk about the no solution, in this case, this one is actually good. If I plot this one, I'm gonna start by doing the same thing I've done before. So if you remember, we solved this one for y, and on the top, on the first equation, and so I have y is less than or equal to a negative 2x plus 4. So I'm going to go up 4 and I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. But then it's a solid because it's equal to, so I'm going to draw in my line. I'm also going to check to see if 0, 0 works. And 0 is less than 4. So I know that for this one goes on this side. On the next one, if I have 2x minus 3y is less than or equal to 6. If I solve this one to me would be a quick, easy way to do your y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and plot my y-intercept. I'm going to let x equal 0. And so that means if x is 0, then I'm going to have then y equals a negative 2. I'm also going to go ahead and let then y equals 0 for my y-intercept. So then I have 2x is less than 6. And so that's going to be then x then is going to equal 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And in this case, I'm going to also be a solid. Okay, then I'm going to take my equation. I'm going to substitute 0 in. 0 minus 0 is less than or equal to 6, and that is true. So it includes 0 all along this line, and therefore my shaded area where they're both true is going to be right up here. But what I wanted to do, is just go back and, okay, so that one is the 2x. I've got them out of order since I had them in the wrong order. Let me unselect this one. So again, I have this one shaded. 3x, I have the wrong one shaded. Let's go that one. And 2x plus y, that one, and not these two. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's my purple graph. But notice if I were just to change this, okay, both of these have, notice I have on this, like for instance, on this first one, it's a slope of 2. If I were to just take the second equation, and let's take and say that I changed this one, and I changed the y-intercept. So I took the same equation, and I went the different direction. So if I had a different y-intercept, in other words, I have parallel lines. There's a time, like in this case, where if the first line, the purple one is going to go kind of below it, but the other one goes above it, this one would be an example of what kind of solution. Yeah, there's nothing there where they intersect. If I had to, though, this one change and say this one happened to be greater than. Oh, I've got two things. I'm like, this is giving me an error. Let's go less than. So I'm going to change that and go less than or equal to. Notice that this one, the pink line is going to go below, but the solution would actually be this whole thing here where it's going to be then where it's equal for my 2x minus 4, which is below it. So it doesn't include that little line, that little space in between. So you can have different kinds of graphs. Sometimes it could be a no solution though. Does that make sense? All right. Sorry about getting them out of order, but that's the lesson. You do have a review. So there is a review on your notes. If you guys want to wait till tomorrow or next week, Monday and Tuesday of next week, we were planning on working on the review. But again, you guys can go ahead and print it off if you have time this weekend. If you don't, we'll work on it on Monday and Tuesday. I'll also put it on the lesson plans for next week as well. So Um, other than that, I'll let you guys work.